Welcome to MMA Noise. I'm your host, Mike Straka, along with Coach Mark Henry and Mark Eddie Alvarez. Came back to the camp, was briefly in camp a couple years ago, moved down to the Black Zillions, came back, and it's a different Eddie Alvarez, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the same Eddie Alvarez and that Philly fighter and heart and just what he brings to everybody around him, that spirit that he brings and optimism, man, how he's just always gung-ho and ready to go and he's always helping everybody around him. So it's definitely the same Eddie in that respect.
Well, he did really call you out last night after he won.
Hey, Mark Henry, Ricardo Almeida, Marlon, Anderson Franken, thank you guys so much. I owe everything. Thank you.
After I saw last night the way he took apart Rafael Dos Anjos and the way he took apart Donald Cerrone, but Cerrone never went down, it tells me how tough Cerrone is.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't believe what happened in that championship fight between Rafael Dos Anjos and Eddie Alvarez. Of course, I was rooting for him because he's an East Coast guy and I'm an East Coast guy, and he's part of your team, of course. But I just thought he did tremendous. Can you just talk a little bit about the strategy? What did you tell Eddie? I mean, he really let you and Ricardo, Almeida have a lot of praise here. He said it wasn't even me; it was these guys.
Yeah, well, first of all, with the Cerrone thing, man, I think that Dos Anjos is definitely tougher, and the fact that Donald's a little taller, so it's a little harder to hit on the button. You know what I'm saying? Where Dos Anjos is more his height, to where I think he hit him in a really good spot. Where Donald, he was kind of reaching up for a lot of the times. But I think Eddie, what I taught him for that fight was nothing, man. As in, like, he was an animal. Like he like put the hurt on him, and Eddie did what Eddie does, man. You can't teach that. You can't teach that it factor of what Eddie did last night. So I had nothing to do with after he stung him of how he finished him, man. I mean, he threw a lot of punches. A lot of punches were hitting, and I couldn't believe Dos Anjos was able to take that. And I have the highest regard for Dos Anjos. Like I said to in some other interviews, I'm like, you beat him, man. I'm like, you beat Rafael Dos Anjos, who's so well-rounded, black belt in jiu-jitsu. His Muay Thai is insane. Throws every punch to kill. Like, you beat this guy, man. Like, you really earned your pay for 10 years.
One thing that struck me that Eddie said in his post-fight interview was, I heard him and I had to empty the gas tank. Yeah. Explain what that means.
It means, like, if he didn't finish him right there, like he even said to me after the fight, he's like, man, I don't know if I would have had enough. It was that. If not, I was going to be in trouble because, like, he let it all go, man. Like, he saw him hurt. And yet, and that's the thing, man. Sometimes you have the choice of, let it all out now. I could win and take it, or I could risk it in the later rounds. I might win because Rafael, man, he recovered. It was pretty close to the same fight that Tabao had. Tabao hurt Rafael. It's the only ever time I really saw him hurt. Tabao hit him same way, but he could not put him away, and he was trying like crazy. And I think Tabao won a split decision, but I really thought that Rafael won that fight, and he came back strong. And that was kind of what was going through my head. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking like, this dude is hard to finish, But Eddie kept going, and I'm also thinking on the other side, man, if we don't get this dude, then we might not have this moment again where you have a refreshed Rafael. So, man, Eddie took it over, did what he does. Like I said, he has that it factor, that Philly instinct, and the heart of a champion. Everything wrapped into one, which I have nothing to do with that. So, Eddie was the man.
Going back to what you say about Dos Anjos and being so tough, even when Herb Dean stopped the fight, he just turned and walked away. Rafael, he didn't fall down. He didn't put his hands on his knees.
Yeah, he's tough, man.
He just turned and walked away. He didn't complain. He was happy the fight was stopped, but he just walked away like, okay, he won. And I thought that was so awesome of him.
Rafael, man, I'm very friendly with him, and Ali Al-Dabi's, like, he's his manager, and I'm really good friends with Rafael. He's such a great guy. And last year, we text each other back when we see each other, and even wishes my son a happy birthday. Like, he's such a gentleman. I'm a Christian, he's a Christian, so we both love the Lord. Jesus is number one in both our lives, so we have so much in common in that. And I really do look highly upon this guy. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Eddie, on the other hand, man, he's just been a champion everywhere. Put him in Japan, put him anywhere. This kid is going to dominate. This kid is going to come away with the belt no matter what. And Eddie, you're around Eddie, man. And, as a coach, you see a really good, someone really good like Rafael, just good all around. Like, Eddie gives you such confidence, man, and just belief, you know, that you think you're even coaching good, but it's him, man, and he's just amazing.
Another thing I love about Eddie Alvarez is the first thing he did was get up on a cage and point to his wife, point to Jamie and say, "We did it, baby."
Hey, this ain't got nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with my friends, my family, my trainers and training partners, and my wife and kids. I love you guys.
And that's exactly why you want it so bad for you. Besides being one of the best MMA fighters to ever walk the planet and has proven it, the only guy to ever win the Bellator championship and the UFC. I mean, Bellator's been around a while. You've been around, know everything. And to be the first guy to ever win Bellator and UFC, and not alone go over to Japan and win Dream and the other things that he's won. I mean, bro, he's one of the best all-time fighters at MMA that anybody's ever seen. And then you have on top of it, like you said, this guy who's you gotta see the father this guy is, man.
I know.
You want it so bad for him because he's such a great fighter, but besides that, such a great guy, great husband, a great father, a great friend, an amazing teammate. Like with Edson, Edson was fighting Pettis. Eddie's the first guy that's in his ear. Listen, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Then he gets Melendez, and Eddie's the first guy that runs up to him and says, "Listen, come over to the wall. Let me show you this and let me show you that."
Yeah.
He just brings the room wherever he's at, man. He brings the room up as being a phenomenal athlete and also on grounding guys with his humbleness. And
he's a giver.
Even last night, man, like this kid is he bought 16 tickets for his friends and his family, and this kid is getting wrapped, and his phone's blowing up like crazy. So there's 16 people waiting on 16 tickets, and I'm like, Eddie, forget it, forget the phone, man. Like just And Eddie's like, no. Like he was so concerned. Like this guy's fighting for the UFC title. They're wrapping one hand, and the other hand is on his phone, talking to his wife Jamie, and trying so hard to get his friends. He's not getting angry, and he's not doing anything. He's just, trying to help everybody out as he's getting ready for the biggest fight of his life. We're about an hour and a half away from fight time, and this guy's more concerned about his friends and his family, man. That's exactly the type of guy this kid is. I'm Mark Henry. You're watching MMA Noise with Mike Straka, baby. Boom.